สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Voice of the Nation Special Interview. You are with me วรัญสุดาการุญยทัศน์ค่ะ Thailand has for centuries been known for its intricate silver jewelry and has made the name for itself as a top silver jewelry and exporter with a strong network of artisans and a solid background in manufacturing and trade. Thailand has been a major exporter of gems and jewelry across the globe, but export came to be lower with the arrival of COVID-19 in 2020. Now, with the pandemic situation improving and ongoing US-China trade war, shifting by buyer and wholesaler focus to Thailand again. And why that? Today, we will talk with the president of Thai Silver Exporter Association. He will offer insight on what can be expected in the silver and jewelry industry in 2022. Please welcome คุณกิตติศักดิ์อุดมแดงอาราม or คุณแซม to the Voice of Nation ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะคุณแซมค่ะ So first of all thank you คุณแซมค่ะ for joining with the program and welcome to Voice of Nation ค่ะ
You're welcome.
ค่ะคุณแซมค่ะ for the first question ค่ะ How is the situation of Thai gems and jewelry industry?
Yes, thank you. For the gems and jewelry industry of Thailand, we have the exporting value for the overall about 10 billion US dollar for the last year. I have some image of the presentation picture that I would like to show to the people, to you, and the graph. For the gems and jewelry industry in Thailand, there are so many product sector, and one of the major sector is the silver jewelry. In the last year, we have 1.7 billion US dollar exporting value of the silver jewelry industry from Thailand to all over the world. Actually, for the Thailand, if you in the people around the world will see that Thailand is the final destination of the gems and jewelry industry that they are looking for. When the people all over the world think about the supplier or manufacturing of the silver jewelry or any kind of jewelry, they will think about Thailand because Thailand have many resources, and we have the full of the labor skill and many uh, uh, resources that can respond to the market all over the world. Yes.
Yeah. And how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect?
As you know, for the pandemic, COVID-19 is really big problem, but I think it's the problem all over industry section. For the gems and jewelry is also the problem as well. In the past, last 2 years, for the back to the beginning of the problem, is for you can imagine that we are watching the cinema in a movie theater, and suddenly they pause the bottom and say everyone have to stop. In the gems and jewelry industry in Thailand as well had the same problem, same situation. Every single factory have to be hold and pause the production process. Every order have to be stopped, and some of them has been canceling the order because of the pandemic and unpredictable situation at those time. At that moment, so many factories have to adapt themselves to stay in the environment of the economy. Many people have to lay off or cut down the budget, and they have to control the budget because the revenue is come to be at the beginning is say like a zero because nothing coming up, but they have so much of the labor intensive in the factory. That means expense is going every day. The only way that they can maintain the business that they talk to the customer, they keep contact, and they uh, spend time to uh, review the budget in the factory, how to maintain this. At those time, we have been many discussing together with the friends in the industry and also in the country. We also talking about to the government officer at those time, and we have been very satisfied for the performing of the cooperation together with the government and private sector and our friends in industry, and we have solved many problems together.
Yeah. If I reverse before COVID pandemic, which country are key importer of Thai gems and jewelry?
Oh, yes. For the especially the silver jubilee, I we can say that the United States is the number one
Mm.
and the major market for the Thai silver jubilee because United States have been importing the silver jubilee from over the world, but they import from Thailand the number one. We have a biggest value to the U.S. market, and
Mm-hmm.
the silver jewelry is very strong in the European country as well.
Yeah.
For example, like Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and also we have some market in China and also in Scandinavian country. Actually, the silver jewelry is delivered to over the world. Lately, is about the India also have a very
Oh,
important market. Yes.
yeah. And how about in domestic country, domestic market? We can sell the silver to the target in Thailand.
Oh, yes. For at the COVID-19 pandemic situation, at those time, the exporting have been affected. In I remember in the year 2019 is the beginning of the pandemic, and until the year 2020, the exporting value is decreasing a little bit from the previous recession. But
Mm-hmm.
so, in the term of the Thai Silver Exporter Association, we have been discussing with our membership how to support or how to solve the problem and how we survive at those times. So we organize the domestic market platform to our memberships. For
Mm-hmm.
example, is like a physical jewelry fair we call the Jewelry Empire that we
Mm-hmm.
have been organized at the central uh, department store at the
Mm-hmm.
downtown, and we gathering our membership that would like to sell the silver jewelry at the exporter standard level to domestic people. And at those times, very surprisingly, that we have a good response from the
Oh,
domestic people. That means
oh.
that the people in the domestic they have more awareness and acknowledge the value of the silver jewelry more than in the past.
And for the COVID era, the foreigner or the big buyer cannot come to Thailand. So were you able to maintain connection with a big buyer or wholesaler during the pandemic?
Oh, this is very good question. This is the most important point that we need to maintain because of the, in the demand of the market for the silver jewelry during the pandemic situation is shrink down or reducing dramatically, and we have to find a way to maintain our customer. So we use the online technology like
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, Zoom, or whatever platform that can meet the customer online. We have been contacting every membership of our association.
Mm-hmm.
They are mostly like a factory and manufacturing exporter. So they have a good customer in many countries. They keep contact to them and they exchange information together and they find a solution that compromise. They send the catalog of the product by online and they extend some financial support together. We cooperate together very closely to the customer by online platform. That,
Mm,
that,
oh, it's
that's
good.
why, yeah, now we still keep contact and a strong relationship to that customer.
Yeah. And like this platform, how will the Thai Gems and Jewelry Associations help small business or SME? Will it offer them training and easier access to e-commerce platform?
Oh, During the COVID-19 situation,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as you know, in the gems and jewelry industry, they have many SME operator in the business entrepreneur. So many, I think about 95% of the total people who running the business in the gem and jewelry industry are SME, and
Mm-hmm.
the SME need to adapt more marketing tools to get the demand to success in the sales to the market. So they use many platform online, even in the domestic and outside country as well. For
Mm-hmm.
the Thai Silver Exporter Association, we have been organized one project that very interesting. Is a new distribution channel that we contact to the customer. We call online business matching. Actually,
Oh.
online business matching is a normal practice to the exporter. Many organizations have been organized this activity, but we implement one tools that can allow the customer to request directly meeting by online
Mm-hmm.
by the website when we send the email to the customer all over the world by our database and by supporting to the Department of International Export Promotion. Uh, After they receive the email, they can click and confirm and set up the link for online business matching schedule together with our factory. Uh,
Oh yeah, because before COVID era, we have to face, right? Must
yeah,
go to see the customer, but this time we use e-commerce to make it easy to access, right? Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
what's barrier about exporting that you see right now?
oh, you mean at the moment, right? After
Yes.
COVID. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem of the exporting at the moment situation is changing to the past few years ago because the COVID-19 have disrupt everything, the distribution channel and the marketing and any strategy need to be adapt and change to fit to the new environment. Uh, but in the term of the Thailand, that is a manufacturing base of the silver jewelry, we need to call, we need to fight, we need to survive in many aspects,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the manufacturing process as well.
Yes.
I would like to talk about the manufacturing that we have a labor intensive in the silver
Mm-hmm.
jewelry. We use so many people in the labor in factory. Now, after COVID, we need to get more labor into the system because during the COVID-19, the labor had been out of the system so much. And now, the order come back from the customer. We need to speed up and accelerate the production capacity to be back as the previously section as well. But another thing that we need to adapt is the marketing channel, how the way to marketing the your product to let the people all over the world know and get to you because now everything is online. But after a few years ago, we have been testing and implement many online system. We also believe in physical meeting. We still believe in a physical meeting that jewelry some many section many product need to see the actual product before decision making by buying them. For example, the gems or like a diamond or any more precious value. But for the silver jewelry, they like to see the design, they like to touch, they like to get feeling of the
Yeah.
silver jewelry as well before decision making to import because we export in about a big quantity volume. So they need to see. This is another aspect from the retailing. We have so many market section is manufacturing exporting this like a wholesale but retail is another story that some company also doing this market as well. Yes.
Yeah. Because right now the gold is rising. And how about the raw material of silver is rising according to gold price? It's
Oh
affect
yes,
to the silver jewelry business right now.
yes. If you see the price of the precious metal, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even gold and silver or platinum, every metal is rising up so much at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because of inflation or whatever reason, investment. But for the silver, if you go back to the previous last 3 years ago, you will see that the silver material price increasing about 35 to 40% from
Mm-hmm.
previous
Mm-hmm.
section. This is
Mm-hmm.
very big increasing because of the reason in the market. This is the major problem to the our factory as well, especially SME. Because there are some privilege of the exporter or any company that they apply this privilege from the
Mm-hmm.
Department of Revenue, and
Mm-hmm.
they are allowed to buy the silver metal for
Mm-hmm.
the manufacturing without VAT 7%.
Yeah.
But for the SME, small company or small many people like a silversmith working at home,
Mm-hmm.
they are not be able to get this privilege because
Oh,
they
I
are not
see.
registered by the company. They're working by themselves, by the family membership or friends,
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood, and these people need to buy the higher cost of the silver metal because they need to pay 7% more.
Yeah.
At this
Mm-hmm.
part, when the raw material increasing like this moment, 40% from the past, they need more cash to spend. That means the cash flow of the themselves will have some problem. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is a big problem for the local manufacturing. I mean um, small silversmith, something like that.
Yeah, I see. For the first that you say that the main market in the USA and Europe. And how about the problem of Russian and Ukraine war? Is affect to Thailand jewelry export right now?
Oh, yes. I can say, actually, Thai silver jewelry have been exporting to Russians many years ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, our membership also facing the problem. The
Mm-hmm.
major problem is now we cannot ship the merchandise to Russia because of
Mm-hmm.
the transportation cost, and secondly, the currency of the ruble increasing so much. That means the
Mm-hmm.
importer in Russia have to pay more to buy the same earring,
Yeah.
same pendant. They need to
Mm-hmm.
spend more money. I think more than 50, I'm not sure right now, but I guess before it's more than 100 ruble for $1. But now it's
Wow. Mm-hmm.
decreasing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the problem for this crisis that directly affected to Thai silver exporter. But for the major image, I mean a macro
Mm-hmm.
view, we also focusing this situation very closely because it could be expanding to any country all over the world for the US or European Union if they join the war or any action that
Mm-hmm.
affected. I think the economic all over the world will be affecting like
Yeah.
at the same time. So Thailand silver jewelry uh, we are monitor closely for this situation.
Yeah, like this, what is your forecast for export to Europe and US market in this year? Will things pick up or do you need to prepare anything for recession that might occur in the future?
For this year, let's say for the last year first. Last
Yeah.
year, 2021, we have exporting value, I think about 1.7 billion US dollar. Let's say 1,700 million US dollar. That was increasing from previously year about 21%. Because during the pandemic, the exporting value lower more than we forecast. But last year we have a growth in 22 digits. Uh, I when we see this number comparing to 2018, it is very closely to the normal process. I mean, the normal figure that we have been exporting worldwide right now. So
Mm-hmm.
this year, after pandemic release and many country they open the country, people start to traveling and spend the money. We forecast this year the exporting value would be minimum 20%, not below than last year, because silver jewelry is on demand and on the mega trend for the consumer in the market at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for with the Huri Papura about Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Fair that organized every year and 1 year two times a year, right? But the fair in last few year canceled for the last few year. How do you think the upcoming event in September? Do you think big buyer will come to this event?
Oh, yeah. Like we have been canceling the physical fair Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Show, I think 2 years ago, and we have been organized a virtual fair to replace the opportunity. But at this year, September, the Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Fair would be starting comeback to organize in the physical venue at the Impact Muang Thong Thani as well. I think 7 to 18. I'm not sure for the date. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They will be organized. This time will be come back and will be the major physical jewelry show again, and we believe that the major customer and many people buyer from worldwide will come, because at this moment we have been receiving many contacts from the buyers in many countries that they ask for the regulation to traveling into Thailand. They ask, do we have any restrict uh, or need to have a permit or anything, something
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
that,
To
regulation.
enter to Thailand. Uh-huh.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
entry to Thailand. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good sign and a good environment that everything starting to coming back. I think that would be the positive for the Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Show. So the organizer this time will be the DITP, Department of International Promotion, and also the GIT uh, organization will be joined to be a partner to organize the Bangkok Gems and Jewelry Show this year. And I think there would be many interesting product and many exhibitors that have been stopped for 2 years will come back. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
will be the major session and will be really exciting at that time.
Yeah, I hope it's run very well in September. Yeah. And did the gems and jewelry industry get any help from the government to ease the burden of the pandemic for us? What support do you think the industry need from the government?
Oh, okay. In last few years, in the pandemic COVID-19 situation, starting very strong and many people, many manufacturer affecting in this. We have talked to the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. We thank you to him that he have been coming to visit us at the association, and we have been discussing many aspects to improve or solve the problem. Because you remember last 5 or 6 years ago, I'm not sure, he pronounced that announced that the Thailand will be the World Gem and Jewelry Associate,
Yeah.
World Gem and
Mm-hmm.
Jewelry Hub of
Mm-hmm.
of the world.
Of the
Because
world, yes.
because
Mm-hmm.
of Thailand, we have many resources and many ecosystem that really good for to be a world center of the gem and jewelry. And the government announced to support many programs. At those time, we also received the supporting from the government that the beginning, every people think that gems and jewelry is a rich industry. The people
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of money, no need to get help from
Ah,
any
yeah.
people. But actually, the James and jewelry industry is uh, is the same business to any other
Mm-hmm,
business,
mm-hmm,
but they have abundant more cost investment, and we also need to support from the government. They allow us to the labor in the system to get paid, compensation 62%
oh,
from the office security, social security office at those times,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and they help I think more than 500 people labor in the system at those
mm-hmm,
times.
mm-hmm,
I'm very
mm-hmm,
happy that to they give the support, and we also requesting them to help the SME, small medium enterprise, that to waive the VAT 7% on buying the silver metal in order to make Thailand to be world of silver jewelry hub. We need
mm-hmm,
to release the regulation from the government. Otherwise, we cannot achieve this state.
mm,
So we still working on this problem. We still not planted by the government.
mm-hmm,
Many SME during this process, this time they get a problem because they
mm-hmm.
not have cash flow. And
Oh,
previously, another problem is cash flow, well,
mm-hmm.
liquidity. This is a big problem, but I think it's a big problem to all over industry, but
Yes.
especially jewelry now. Uh, Very difficult to get the help in the financial. But for the moment, it's start release.
Mm-hmm,
The government and uh, many organizations help join together to help. So it can help more SME to get the financial support a little bit, step by step now.
mm-hmm. To get more revenue to the industry, right? And the last question, what is
Yeah,
your outlook for the Thai gems and jewelry industry in this year and in the future?
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
the outlook, I can say Thailand is very strong in doing manufacturing, designing, and trading the gems and jewelry up to the world market. We have many resources to support to the market, and Thailand is a very well famous to the all people over the world. When they think about the gems and jewelry, Thailand is in top five to the world market, and Thailand have a ecosystem that very comfortable to the buyer or foreigner to come to have a business about the gems and jewelry, especially Thai silver jewelry. We have a craftsmanship and designer. The Lisa is a very famous and a fever at the moment, and we have a very popular designer in Thailand that they design and produce the jewelry for Lisa in the music video and really get a response. This is the symbolic and the example to show that Thailand is the best in gems and jewelry place for the world. And we forecast that this year or future we will coming back more strong and strong because the ecosystem in the Thailand now change and offer more convenience to the people to come to Thailand in doing this business.
Yeah. I'm sure the situation of the exporter will be better soon, including our silver jewelry business, both in factory, wholesaler, or SME, because the entry regulation for foreigner to come to Thailand more flexible. And for today, thank you for sharing your opinions and your forecast about the export situation. I'm sure that Thai gems and jewelry industry will come back and sparkle on the world stage for sure again. And thank you, Kun Sam,ค่ะ, for joining our program. And next time, you stay tuned with Kun Nina in Voice of the Nations. And today, I am วรัญชดาการุญยทัศน์สวัสดีค่ะ